Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin. I am now a third-year urology resident. I am just starting my third week of third year, and today I wanted to reflect on my second year and just give you guys like some tips I learned, what it was like, and also for myself to watch back and kind of reflect on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's jump in. So kind of the big change for us going into second year is the call. We go from being interns where we just carry the floor pager, not the consult pager, and we take no home call. So we do take some in-call, like in-house call for gen surge. But we don't take any call for urology except for like on the weekends with the 3, and we don't take any home call. Our second year, we take a lot of calls. So not only do we carry the consult pager during the day, but we also take home call, which kind of evens out to every other night to every 3 nights and every other weekend from like Friday night to Monday morning. So it's a lot of call, and that was definitely the thing I was the most nervous about. In fact, I did cry my first night taking call because I was so nervous about it. And I only got called like one patient phone call to ask if it was okay to like eat a banana when he took Advil. Anyway, it was not a big deal. And yes, I did have some rough nights of call. I had a lot of nights that I only got a couple hours of sleep. One night where I got 0 hours of sleep. But I think the thing to remember when you're on call is you're never without backup. You always have a chief you can call. You always have an attending you can call. There are always people who can call for help when you don't know what's going on. If it's a urologic issue, like a consult, you basically just have to determine, is this urgent or non-urgent? And if even you're not sure about that, you can always call for help. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone wants the same outcome, and everyone is so nice. So I think that was really, really helpful to remember. The other thing is, the thing I think I didn't remember, but it's just good to have in the back of your mind, is if there's ever anything like acute happening with a floor patient, like say their oxygen's dropping or their blood pressure is really low and you don't know what to do, you can always call a rapid response, some sort of, you can call in backup. For us at our hospital, it's like a rapid response. Like there's a special team where if a patient's kind of like not doing well on the floor, you can call that team and they'll kind of help you triage. You get labs faster, you get imaging faster. And that's always something good to have in your back pocket, so you're not trying to manage like AFib that you can't correct like with metoprolol. Like once it gets past the metoprolol stage, I'm like, I need backup here. There are always other teams you can call. You can always consult medicine. There's always someone who can help. Which is really, really nice. The number of times I've called cardiology in the middle of the night to be like, hey, like this EKG looks a little weird. Like, can you please just look at this for me? It's great. So everyone's on the same page. Yes, it's exhausting. It can make your next day really, really rough, the call. And it's kind of scary, kind of triaging these issues on your own. But always having someone as backup really, I think, makes you feel better. That being said, I am not a type of person who handles call well. I feel like I always get really like anxious when I'm on call. I feel like I can't enjoy myself as much. And with the amount of call we do, that is a problem for my life. So I'm trying to get better with that. I'm trying to kind of change my mindset around call and be like, listen, I just feel like I dread getting called, which is not a good mindset to have. I have to be like, listen, if you get called, you get called and you'll figure it out. But it's not a reason to ruin the rest of your night when it's every other night that you're on call. So just something to think about for me. That's kind of the big difference for us between first and second year, is consult, call, kind of learning how to time manage. because you also hold the consult pager during the day. So, you're operating more and also holding the consult pager. One thing I feel like I want to get better at, and this is just me being fully transparent with you guys, is I feel like for me, whenever I had a consult that wasn't straightforward, instead of thinking it through more so on my own, I would just automatically want to talk it over with someone. It was both a time issue, like I felt like I was like rushing to do everything and I just wanted to like get it over with. And also like an anxiety thing, like I really have this fear of like doing the wrong thing. So I wish that I had kind of thought over these consults a little bit more before going to my chief about them, like really thought through every avenue. And that's something that I want to work on kind of going forward. Kind of as a second year, I feel like you're so inundated with the number of things you have to do that you're just trying to get everything done as efficiently as possible instead of like really, really trying to learn. You learn so much just by like being exposed to it and through osmosis, but I need to be better about kind of thinking through everything. Even like an operative plan, you just kind of like, are like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do, instead of like thinking through kind of how you can do it. What are the other options? Like stuff like that. So like ways to troubleshoot. I did get better at that as the year went on. And I actually like felt like I had some kind of cases where I troubleshot, like did some good troubleshooting, but always something to work on. The other thing, speaking of learning, again, as a 2, you're really trying to just keep your head above water. So I did feel like I was not contributing as much to research projects that I was on, and I like really did not read that much. So as a 3, you're still doing the same amount of call for us, except we're changing the weekend call schedule. So we're actually on every 3 weekends, which like every 3rd weekend instead of every other. So that I think is going to be a big life improvement. But I want to read more, and I really think I need to increase my like font of knowledge. So I'm going to really focus on that this year as well, along with deciding what I want to do with my life fellowship wise, because this is the year. I think for us, for second year, there's no like way to beat around the bush. Like it is our hardest year. It's a slog of a year. You're just taking a lot of call. You're covering the consult pager every single day. It's a slog of a year. That being said, there are really, really fun parts. Like, you get holidays off, you still get some weekends off, you get to hang out with your co-residents, you're like not the baby intern anymore. You're on urology all the time for us instead of like splitting your time with gen surge. So there are a ton of benefits, and plus like I work with the most amazing people who, as we joke, are my family and my closest friends. So, obviously like I love that aspect, but a lot of the times you're just like, I just want to go home. I just want to have peace. I just want to like not doing this right now. And second year, I just feel like there are a lot of moments like that. So for me to deal with that, I always would say that I would just dissociate, which is a horrible probably tactic, but this is what I did. Whenever I was just like, say I got called in at like one night I got called in, I like got home, immediately got called back to the ED for something dumb, came back, immediately called back to the ED, came back, immediately got called like 3 times back and forth to the ED. And I was just livid. And so in times like that, what worked for me was I would just put on a whimsical book on tape or a podcast or something where I would just, as I was driving, and even as I was like parking and walking across the bridge, I'd put my headphones in and I would just dissociate from, it's like when you're actively doing something, I can't be doing anything else. I'm driving to the hospital. It's not like I'm missing work time. I just dissociate and like completely go outside of my body into like this other world that I'm listening to. And it really helped me. Therapists will probably have something to say about that, but for me, that's what helped me get through a lot of the really kind of more bad nights. It was usually at night, like when you were kind of stressed and like not getting much sleep, and like you get called in for a myriad of things that maybe you shouldn't need to come in for. That was the most useful. And then the next day, when you're like exhausted, just kind of dissociating for a little bit was very helpful. I don't want it to sound like second year is horrible. It's not. It is our hardest year. It is a hard year of residency. It's the year of residency that you think about whenever people are like, oh, you're a resident, like, and it's really difficult. Like, second year is that year. So that being said, it does get better. Coming from a now third year, you know, the idea of operating and not having to hold the pager is refreshing. Not hearing that little pager go off and having to run around and see consults between cases, not having to do that, it's like such a foreign concept. It's going to be amazing. That being said, I really do want to help out as a third year as much as I can. I feel like there are a lot of days when the second year for us is doing like a lot of the smaller cysto cases. And as a third year, you have like a couple longer cases, but there's longer turnover time, you know, like sometimes these cases get canceled for this and that, and you really don't have a ton to do that day, or you say you only have one bigger case that just takes the morning and you're free in the afternoon. I know like a lot of people are burnt out and stuff, but I really just for myself and as a note for myself want to take that pager from the second year if they seem stressed, go see a consult, go help put in Foley's, like cover things that need to be covered. I just really want to do that, and I want to remember that when I'm like in the hospital and burnt out. I want to remember to do that, because as a second year, when your third year or your fourth year takes that pager, it's like such a relief. Like holding that pager during the day is really hard, and so anytime you can give it up even for a little bit is such a relief. So I really do want to focus on that as a third year. Really pulling my weight on the team. But I am excited to not have to hold it when I'm operating, and just like, it really takes you away from the operating room, like hearing that beeping go off and be like, God, like what awaits for me when I get out of here. The other thing I engaged in a lot as a second year was retail therapy. Bought a lot of stuff for this house that made me happy. And I think you just got to do what you got to do to get through the year. And like I said, it gets better. So just find what pockets of joy you can. Try not to get so burnt out. Like, it happens, like you will get burnt out. But like, I'm on this rotation now where today I worked from 7 a.m. to noon. So, you know, life, once you get through second year, you earn those breaks that you have. That's kind of it. I don't want to freak anyone out about second year. Like, this is residency, and I learned so much. I learned how to operate better. I became more confident in my decision-making ability. I became way more confident in the OR, like miles more confident. And I think that really showed, and it's just such a great learning experience second year, but it's a slog. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please let me know if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that. I want to be a resource for all of that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around for more urology content. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, bye.